And now you know why USDA and the meat packers are aggressively attempting to require each of you to register your real property, your premises, and your personal property, your livestock, under a national registry program called the National Animal Identification System, also known as NAIS. This USDA meat packer partnership has consciously decided to begin allowing foreign animal diseases into the United States through relaxed import standards, and it now needs the ability to manage these diseases within our borders. Again, if you are a corporate meat packer, you couldn't have devised a better plan to gain access to cheaper imported beef and cattle than to have U.S. cattle producers pay the cost of an entirely new disease management system, one that may or may not help to trace back domestic outbreaks of foreign animal diseases. Diseases the government knows will be introduced into the United States under its relaxed policies. For those who might question the government's intent to allow new and dangerous diseases into the United States, you need only look at USDA's risk assessment for its regulations that allow over 30-month cattle and beef from Canada. The agency's most recent risk assessment predicts that USDA's new regulations will result in the introduction of between 19 and 105 BSE-infected cattle from Canada. That would result in BSE infections of between 2 and 75 U.S. cattle born right here in the United States over the next 20 years. RCAF USA has led the fight against NAIS. We were instrumental in prohibiting mandatory NAIS as a precondition to country of origin labeling. We forced USDA to back down from its early attempts to make the program mandatory. We prevented Congress from requiring meat served to our school children to come only from cattle enrolled in the program. We fought state fair boards that mandated premises registration for children participating in fairs. We exposed the fact that USDA was registering the premises of cattle owners without the owner's knowledge. We required the agency to establish a mechanism whereby producers could remove themselves from the National Premises Registry, and it was RCAF that called on USDA and Congress to rescind USDA's directive that premises registration be mandatory for livestock owners who participate in a federal disease program. This fight is far from over, and that's why we need your help. The fight embodies the fundamental question of whether the government can impose on our industry the most onerous regulatory regime imposed on any segment of the U.S. economy. Why hasn't USDA explained why NAIS is needed when we've successfully controlled and eradicated diseases without it? USDA still hasn't explained how a one-size-fits-all disease program can effectively control all cattle diseases. And USDA still hasn't explained how much NAIS will actually cost producers and the U.S. cattle industry. USDA and their meat packer partners have purposely misrepresented NAIS as a food safety issue. They improperly represent the program as a means of containing foodborne illnesses, even though NAIS actually ends at the slaughterhouse gate. This misrepresentation is designed to hide the real problem, that USDA does not have a system in place to trace tainted meat back to the slaughterhouse where pathogens such as E. coli can contaminate food. This problem is caused by USDA's lack of enforcement of food safety laws at the slaughterhouse itself, where USDA lets meat packers police themselves. RCAF is fighting to pass food traceback legislation to correct this problem, but USDA is resisting this effort, and it is trying to deflect attention away from the meat packers and redirect it back at you, the independent cattle producers. To effectively stop NAIS, more livestock producers and more consumers need to join with RCAF USA in order to clearly demonstrate that there is widespread citizen opposition to the government's unprecedented advances. Again, we need your help in this fight as numbers matter. We hope you will join with us.